charge?
Yes.
Violation number 2, you went to Legends Recovery Treatment in Sandusky County without authorization. You understand that charge?
Yes.
Failed to report to probation on December 11th. You understand that charge?
Yes.
Mr. Watson?
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court, my client is prepared to waive today's final hearing, enter a plea of guilty to the charges, Your Honor.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
What's your plea to the charges?
Guilty.
I'll accept your guilty plea and find you guilty, so what seems to be the problem?
Well, I fell back into drinking. You know, I went out and had some drinks for a couple of weeks, which went against everything I was doing. And
Why did you do that?
Really, there's no good excuse for it. You know, there's really no good excuse for it. I stopped doing what I was supposed to do.
The question is why you did it.
Because I stopped doing what I was doing. I stopped calling my sponsor as much as I was, and I stopped working on myself. I kind of just ignored it a little bit.
Why didn't you show up to probation?
Well, I went to the detox program rather than that, which I know that was a bad choice too, because I didn't let them know, but I went to that program hoping I can go to the next program of theirs, back to the rehabilitation center. I thought that would help me.
So apparently you didn't think that was a problem, not going to probation because you went to treatment instead. You thought that was okay?
Well, I knew it was a problem, and I knew I had to address it, and that's why I had the treatment center bring me out to probation and to take care of it and turn myself in and tell them about what I did.
Is that your impression, Ms. Randazzo?
He was brought out to probation that day by the treatment facility.
Right, I know that, but his impression that it was okay, that he did what he did because he was addressing the problem.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
When did you tell her that you were drinking from December 1st to the 10th?
When I arrived at the probation for our...
On December 18th?
On the 18th, the week after I was supposed to report.
When, before December 18th, did you talk to her?
Probably our last report day.
Which was when?
Maybe around 6, maybe December 6th, or somewhere around there, maybe, beginning of December. Last time I saw her for the appointment, I don't remember.
When was it?
The reporting date.
His last report was November 20th.
Oh.
So then on November 20th, your expectation was he was going to report on December 11th?
Correct, Your Honor.
And on December 11th, he didn't report.
Correct.
And how did you know where he was if he didn't report?
I had no idea. There are multiple messages where myself or Kaylee Warren left him messages on December 12th, December 16th, December 17th. On December 18th, he returned a message and admitted to me that he began consuming alcohol on December 1st. He was instructed to report.
Why didn't you get back to her when she started calling you?
I didn't have my phone in the place I was at. We weren't allowed to have our cell phones.
Do they have any landlines there?
They did.
Did you tell them I better call my probation officer?
I did mention it, and I just waited. I waited.
Are you unfamiliar with how probation works?
I'm familiar with it. I understand the rules of it.
Okay. You just don't want to follow the rules of it. It was not a suggestion that you had to get permission before leaving the county. It was a requirement that you had to get permission before leaving the county. It wasn't a suggestion that you show up on December 11th, it was a requirement that you show up on December 11th. You just decided you wanted to do what you wanted to do when you wanted to do it. That's what the problem is. Somehow you think only some of the rules, not all of the rules apply to you. That's why you've ended up in prison a couple times, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you want? What do you want? What do you want from me?
I would like to say I'm sorry, but I know that doesn't hold any weight, you know,
It-
with looking
it
at my
holds
record.
zero weight.
I completely understand that. I mean, if given the chance, I mean, I could, the rehabilitation centers, I mean, it could help me, I mean, at least help my thinking, at least that's what they're for. Obviously, like, I'm not thinking right for myself, making the right decisions. You know, I don't mean to,
Well, what about this, you were here in June of '25. Tell me about this relapse prevention program.
that was, I started that was through Glen Bay, and I would go there once a week. It was once a week in the evenings, every week. And yeah, I started that, I had a few more of those left, and yeah. I was actually still doing that.
Well, when did you start going to it?
When did I start that? Probably a month and a half close to 2 months prior to this.
What took so long?
To get it started, well, I started a different one, I guess it wasn't the right one, because I was doing a virtual one, it was 3 days a week through Surgeon Health, I believe it was called. And I went through that for a little while, and I was told that that wasn't the right one, once my old probation officer that I had, that isn't here no more, I guess. It was okay then, and I guess it was
So you
the wrong
started
thing.
Glen Bay sometime in what, November?
Yes,
October, November?
yeah, it was probably November,
You were going once a week?
yes.
And then this happened in December and you didn't, that's when you stopped going?
Yeah, well, I stopped going because, yeah, I was in the place, so I was continuously still going to it.
So you were going with it
And this
like you
happened.
had to once you started, and then this shit happened
And
in
then-
December and you stopped.
And then, yeah,
Is that correct, Ms. Randazzo?
That could be described as a version of what happened. He was doing a virtual relapse, which we do not accept virtual programming, so he was told that was not permitted.
So fake programming.
Correct. We fought with him and eventually got him into.
What do you mean you fought with him?
It was difficult to get him to participate in the level of programming that he needed to attend.
Why was that?
I don't.
No,
feel
I'm
that-
talking to him now. Why was that?
well, I was trying to find something which would go along with my work and stuff like that, so I was trying to find something for the evenings, and there's not a lot of places that offer that, so I was trying to find something where I could still work my job and still go in the evenings, so it took me a while to find one.
Go ahead.
So the way I translate that is everything else was a priority other than what he needed to do for these court orders. So we eventually settle on this Glen Bay, and his attendance while there was not good. I eventually.
I thought you told me you were going up until this stuff in December.
I missed a couple of them.
Okay, you didn't tell me that initially.
Him and I have.
Why don't you figure out, because when I ask you these questions, there's already a pretty good chance that I know the answer. And the reason I'm asking these questions is to see what you tell me. So lying to me about it's a pretty bad bet. So telling me that you did everything you're supposed to do until this December stuff wasn't truthful, it was a lie, because you just told me you missed sometimes.
I called a few of them off.
Right, so you didn't tell me that when you were telling me the initial story, right? Okay.
I was truly sick for that.
Doesn't matter, because you didn't
Okay.
tell me that.
Yeah, sure, you're right, I understand.
Right, go ahead.
So So I speak with this counselor on December 1st and discuss with her that any further missed sessions need to result in him being discharged so I can move forward with a violation. I then call him, address his continuous missed aftercares, and tell him that his counselor's been advised to discharge him and any future missed sessions. And then at that point, we then had the issue where he then goes AWOL and we move forward with the violation.
Okay. Where were you working?
I work with my uncle, and it's just a few guys. We do home remodeling.
Okay. So is Ms. Randazzo's assessment correct that you do things according to your priorities?
Yes, it does definitely appear that way.
Well, I know it
Yes,
appears that
it
way,
is,
okay? The
yes,
question is
yes.
that, do you agree that that's the
Well,
case?
yes, she's correct, yes.
See, it's not like this is the first time you've ever been involved with the system. And you really are unsure of what your obligations are. You're a veteran of the system with multiple prison sentences and multiple terms of probation, so you're fully aware of what the system requires. And you're fully aware of what happens when you don't meet those requirements. Because I see three different two different prison numbers, multiple prison sentences, right?
I was in prison, 2 times.
Right. With other cases run concurrent, right?
Yes.
Right. What's the story with your driver's license?
Well, it was first revoked from a DUI a long time ago. And then child support has a hold on it as well.
Right. So one of the things you were obligated to do was to get a valid license, right?
Yes, yes.
What have you done to obtain a valid license?
I started that job, which was actually probably the best thing, that actual job. That was the first thing that was
Okay, so how much
real.
did you pay toward your OVI obligation and your child support obligation?
I have just started that job. I haven't got to pay anything. I just paid my rent and stuff like that. Literally, that's it.
Well, you were out of jail on June 26th, so you weren't working until when?
I didn't start this job up until the fall.
What were you doing all summer then?
I don't know, I was trying to just get myself together. I was actually going to meetings and stuff like that, trying to find decent work.
It sounds like it sounds like you weren't putting forth any effort. That's what it sounds like.
I really was on my recovery side, like I was doing all that and finding sponsors, but with work, no, I did not. That's the truth.
Mr. Watson?
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. I know what my client did, and he knows what he did was wrong as far as leaving the county to go to Legends, but as I had expressed in chambers, I mean, in his mind at the time, he did think he was doing a good thing going into treatment, and I'll give him...
Well, but that counts for zero.
Well, I understand from the court's perspective and from probation, and he failed, ultimately failed, but at least he took the steps to try to do something for himself. I'm gonna ask the court...
That doesn't count for anything either.
Well,
For me, it doesn't count for anything.
I'm gonna ask...
In his mind, it counts for everything. That's what the problem is. In his mind, he does what he thinks he needs to do to comply when it's like in a different universe. His mind is in a different universe.
I will agree, he needs to be, his way of thinking needs to be changed, which is why I'm gonna ask the court to consider keeping him on community control. I know our office reached out to Lake Geauga. He is on a wait list there. I know probation has made a recommendation as such. It'll be here local. If there's any issues at all, he's not gonna be in Sandusky County or any other county, he's gonna be right here, and it can be addressed immediately, but he's expressed the desire to continue on with treatment, to address his issues with alcohol. I'm asking the court to give him one more chance, put him on a short leash, and if he's not gonna follow through, then he knows where he's gonna end up, because I know he's been there before, I know the court's aware of that, but I think he's very sincere in what he's telling the court, and I'm asking the court to give him one more opportunity. Thank you.
How long has he been in jail?
35 days on the violation, Your Honor.
Was Nicole Newman his probation officer before?
It was Jennifer Harris. So he's had myself and
Who?
Kaylee. Jennifer Harris. He's had myself and Kaylee since,
Who's it gonna be? If I keep mine?
it's gonna be Dave Tompkins.
Well, that ain't good for you. All right, I'm gonna extend your community control until June 26th of 29. So your little shenanigans have bought you another year. 95, what?
No, I was just reading it. It's, can I say something?
Yeah,
I didn't really look at it in the light that I'm hearing it, and yeah,
all right. Well,
it's not good.
so now you're telling me you're hearing it in a different light?
Yeah, I'm hearing myself say these things. It's
Okay, well, we're gonna find out, I guess. 95 days in jail with credit for 35. You're gonna enter in the Lake House or Concord Pines, complete that program and follow the recommendations. If a space becomes available prior to these 60 days that are left, then you're gonna go right away and the remainder will be suspended. And then you're gonna you're going to do everything I told you to do that you haven't done back in the sentencing on June 26th of 25. So when you get out of Concord or when you have the availability to work, don't sit around waiting for that rocket science job to open. Get a job so you can start paying on your license obligation so you can get your license back. Understand?
yes, yes, I do.
If not, then you'll be going for the third time in prison. Mr. Watts, anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.